Every summer, you buy the flea treatments, wash the bedding, and vacuum every room. But the fleas keep coming back. The reason has nothing to do with your house. Your yard is producing fleas faster than any indoor treatment can eliminate them. There are, however, plants that have been fighting fleas for thousands of years. What if you could turn your backyard into a flea's worst nightmare without a single chemical spray? These are 10 plants that do exactly that. Number 1. Lavender. Lavender is one of those plants that humans find irresistible and fleas find unbearable. The reason comes down to a compound called linalool. Linalool is a naturally occurring terpene alcohol found in lavender flowers, and it interferes directly with the way fleas process scent. Fleas rely on their olfactory receptors to locate warm-blooded hosts, and linalool essentially jams that signal. A flea cannot smell your dog through a wall of lavender. Lavender bushes planted along a patio border or near your dog's favorite resting spot in the yard create a fragrant perimeter that fleas actively avoid. The plant thrives in full sun with well-drained soil, and it is drought-tolerant once established. Purple lavender flowers blooming in a sunny garden bed are about as low maintenance as pest control gets. One important note for cat owners: cats lack certain liver enzymes needed to metabolize linalool safely. Lavender planted outdoors in the yard is generally considered low risk because the concentration is minimal, but concentrated lavender oil applied directly to a cat's fur can cause serious toxicity. If you have cats, plant the lavender in areas they do not frequent and never apply lavender oil to their skin. Now, why is your yard producing fleas in the first place? A single female flea can lay up to 50 eggs per day, and those eggs roll off your pet's coat and land in the grass, the soil, and every damp corner of your outdoor space. The larvae hatch in the dirt, feed on organic debris, and wait for a warm-blooded host to walk by. They are drawn to shaded, humid ground beneath overgrown shrubs, tall grass, compost piles, and thick mulch. These damp patches of lawn are flea nurseries. The plants on this list target those exact environments. Number 2. Chrysanthemums. If lavender is the gentle approach, chrysanthemums are the heavy artillery. These flowers contain a compound called pyrethrin, and pyrethrin isn't just a repellent, it is a neurotoxin to insects. When a flea comes into contact with pyrethrin, the compound attacks the insect's nervous system, causing paralysis and death. Here is what makes chrysanthemums fascinating. Pyrethrin from chrysanthemums has been used as an insecticide for over 2,000 years. Ancient Persian farmers discovered that dried chrysanthemum flowers, ground into powder, could kill fleas and lice. That knowledge eventually reached Europe in the 1800s, and by the early 1900s, pyrethrin had become the foundation of the commercial insecticide industry. Today, pyrethrin extracted from chrysanthemum flowers is the active ingredient in over 2,000 pesticide products worldwide. Most of the world's commercial supply comes from farms in Kenya, grown at high elevation where pyrethrin concentrations in the flowers reach their peak. You can grow chrysanthemums right in your own garden. The plants are resilient, they bloom beautifully through the fall season, and their shallow root systems make them easy to maintain. Pinch the tips of side shoots during the growing season, and they will grow bushier with more flowers. However, chrysanthemums are toxic to both cats and dogs if ingested. They are also harmful to fish and aquatic life if pyrethrin enters waterways. Plant them in garden beds away from areas where pets chew on foliage, and keep them away from ponds or streams. So what do you do if you want flea-repelling power without the toxicity risk? That's where number 3 comes in. Number 3 is rosemary, the quiet overachiever on this list. Its strong aromatic oils do not kill fleas, but they create such an overpowering scent environment that fleas struggle to locate their hosts. The woody rosemary bush, with its needle-like leaves, releases volatile oils continuously, especially in warm weather when the sun heats the foliage. What makes rosemary especially useful is its safety profile. Unlike chrysanthemums and lavender, rosemary is considered safe around both dogs and cats. You can grow it in containers right next to your back door, along walkways, or near your dog's outdoor kennel without worry. Rosemary prefers full sun and well-drained soil. In warmer climates, it grows as a perennial shrub that can reach several feet tall. In colder regions, grow it in pots that you can bring indoors during winter. Either way, you get a plant that repels fleas, flavors your cooking, and looks beautiful year-round. But what happens when you want to completely overwhelm a flea's sense of smell? That's the idea behind number 4, mint. If you've ever crushed a peppermint leaf between your fingers, you know the scent is overwhelming. Now imagine being a flea, an insect whose survival depends on tracking faint chemical trails left by warm-blooded animals. A patch of peppermint or spearmint growing near your yard's perimeter essentially blinds the flea's navigation system. The strong menthol compounds mask the pheromone trails that fleas use to find their hosts. Both peppermint and spearmint work for this purpose, and both are easy to grow, perhaps too easy. Mint plants in an open garden bed will spread aggressively, sending out runners in every direction and choking out neighboring plants within a season. The solution is to grow mint in containers. A few large pots of mint placed around your patio, near doorways, and along the foundation of your home create scent barriers without letting the plant take over your entire yard. Mint is generally safe around dogs, though eating large quantities can cause mild stomach upset. For cats, safety depends on the specific variety. Peppermint oil in concentrated form is not safe for cats, but the living plant in an outdoor setting poses minimal risk. Now, what if there was a plant that repels fleas and makes your cat deliriously happy at the same time? Number 5, catnip. Yes, the same plant that sends cats into a euphoric rolling frenzy also happens to be one of nature's most potent insect repellents. Catnip contains a compound called nepetalactone, and researchers at Iowa State University found that nepetalactone repelled mosquitoes about 10 times more effectively than DEET and laboratory spatial repellency tests. While that specific research focused on mosquitoes rather than fleas, nepetalactone has shown broad-spectrum insect repellent properties across multiple pest species, including cockroaches and flies. Catnip is a member of the mint family, which means it shares mint's aggressive growth habits. It can thrive in hardiness zones 3 through 9, tolerates poor soil, and rarely needs supplemental watering in areas with regular rainfall. Plant it along fence lines, around outdoor pet enclosures, or in containers near your porch. The obvious bonus is that catnip is completely safe for cats. Dogs tolerate it well too. Some pet owners report that catnip can even have a mild calming effect on anxious dogs. So you get flea protection, a cat enrichment tool, and a conversation starter with the neighbors, all from one plant. If you have outdoor cats, planting catnip near their favorite sunning spots gives them something to enjoy while keeping the fleas at a distance. Number 6, lemongrass. Lemongrass is the plant behind citronella, one of the most widely recognized natural insect repellents in the world. The tall grassy stalks of a lemongrass plant release a lemony fragrance that repels fleas, ticks, and mosquitoes simultaneously. The active compounds, primarily citronellol and geraniol, overwhelm the scent receptors that blood-feeding insects depend on. Lemongrass is a tropical plant, so it thrives in warm, humid climates and full sun. In cooler regions, grow it in large containers that you can move indoors before the first frost. A cluster of lemongrass stalks growing in a pot beside your back door creates a fragrant barrier that fleas have to pass through to reach your home. Lemongrass is considered relatively safe around pets in its planted form, though consuming large quantities can cause stomach irritation. Keep the pots in areas where your pets will not be tempted to graze on the leaves. Planting them along walkways or on elevated patios works well. Between lemongrass, catnip, and mint, you have 3 members of the same botanical family working together, and each one attacks a flea's senses from a slightly different angle. That's 6 plants down, and already your yard is becoming a much less hospitable place for fleas to survive. Every one of them is working through scent, creating an invisible barrier that fleas would rather avoid than cross. Together, they are turning your yard into a place where fleas cannot easily find their next meal. And we are only getting started with what your yard can do. If you are finding this helpful, hit subscribe. We cover pet care and natural gardening solutions every week, but we are not done yet. The next 4 plants on this list bring something different to the table, and number 7 might be the easiest one to start with today. Number 7, marigolds. Marigolds are one of the most versatile pest control plants you can grow. Their bright orange and yellow flowers are not just decorative. They contain compounds that repel fleas, ticks, aphids, whiteflies, and cabbage maggots. For pet owners, marigolds planted as borders around garden beds and along the edges of your yard create a colorful wall of flea resistance. Marigolds grow in USDA hardiness zones 2 through 11, which covers nearly all of the continental United States. They prefer 5 to 6 hours of sunlight daily, and they bloom through spring, summer, and fall. Deadheading spent flowers extends the blooming season and encourages bushier growth. These are safe plants to grow around both dogs and cats. They are hardy, inexpensive, and easy to find at any garden center. If you are going to plant one thing from this list today, marigolds are probably the most accessible starting point. Plant them in clusters of 3 to 5 along borders where your pet enters and exits the yard. The concentrated bloom creates a stronger scent barrier than a single plant spaced far from the next one. Have you ever noticed how some herbs seem to keep bugs away from your garden without you doing anything? That's the principle behind number 8, sage. Sage has been used as a natural pest repellent for centuries, and it is especially effective against mosquitoes and fleas when its leaves are burned. But even as a living plant in the garden, sage releases enough aromatic compounds to discourage fleas from settling nearby. When choosing sage varieties, stick with common garden sage or scarlet sage from the Lamiaceae family. These are safe for pets. Avoid varieties marketed as yellow sage, red sage, or shrub verbena, because some of these contain compounds that can be harmful to dogs and cats. Sage grows well in sunny spots with sandy, well-drained soil. Sage is a perennial herb in most climates, meaning once it is established in your garden bed, it comes back year after year. An added bonus is that sage flowers attract butterflies and pollinators, so your garden gains both pest protection and ecological diversity. If you grow sage near your kitchen door, you get a flea barrier and a cooking ingredient in the same pot. Now, the next item on this list is not technically a plant you grow, but it might be the most practical flea deterrent of all. Number 9, cedar chips. This one is not a plant you grow, yet it deserves a place on the list because cedar chips are one of the most practical flea deterrents for yards. Cedarwood oil, the active compound in cedar, has been used as an insect repellent for generations. Unlike the herbs and flowers we covered earlier, cedar does not just repel fleas. The oil disrupts the respiratory system of fleas and other small insects on contact. Spread cedar chips in the shady, damp areas of your yard where fleas are most likely to breed. Place them under trees, along fence lines, around dog houses, and in garden pathways. Here's what makes cedar chips especially clever. The chips are mower compatible, so if your mower runs over them, the ground up powder continues to work. Cedar mulch around the foundation of your home creates a barrier that fleas have to cross to reach indoor spaces. Cedar chips are safe around dogs and cats, and they biodegrade slowly, providing months of protection before they need to be refreshed. They are affordable, widely available at garden supply stores, and they make your yard smell like a mountain cabin. The last plant on this list is the most aggressive option, and it comes with a warning. Number 10, wormwood. Wormwood is the plant you bring in when you want broad-spectrum insect control, and you are not worried about being gentle. This silvery green herb produces a botanical toxin called absinthin that repels fleas, moths, flies, and a wide range of garden pests. Wormwood tea has been used for centuries in traditional pest control, and the living plant releases enough volatile compounds to create a noticeable deterrent zone around it. The trade-off is that wormwood is not pet-friendly. Its botanical toxins can cause gastrointestinal distress if eaten by dogs or cats, and it should never be planted near food crops. Use wormwood strictly as a perimeter plant along the outer edges of your property, in garden borders that pets do not access, or in containers placed strategically to intercept fleas before they reach your living spaces. Wormwood is a beautiful plant with fern-like silver foliage and small yellow flowers. It grows well in poor soil and tolerates drought, making it a good choice for neglected corners of the yard that might otherwise become flea breeding grounds. Now, here's the part that ties all of this together. No single plant on this list is going to eliminate fleas from your property by itself. Plants repel fleas from your yard. They do not exterminate flea populations on their own. The real power comes from layering these plants strategically. Think of your yard in concentric rings. The outermost ring is your property perimeter, the fence line, the edges where stray cats and wildlife wander through carrying fleas into your space. Plant wormwood and catnip in that outer ring. The middle ring is your garden beds and lawn borders. Put marigolds, chrysanthemums, and sage in the middle ring. The innermost ring is your living space, the patio, the doorways, the spots where your dog naps in the afternoon sun. Place containers of lavender, rosemary, mint, and lemongrass there. And wherever there is shade and dampness, spread cedar chips. Each ring creates a different kind of obstacle for fleas. The outer ring discourages fleas from entering your property. In the middle ring, flea breeding in the garden beds gets disrupted, and the inner ring keeps them away from your pets and your home. Combine this layered planting with basic yard maintenance. Keep the grass trimmed short so sunlight reaches the soil. Fleas despise direct sunlight on their bodies. Clear leaf litter and compost piles where larvae hide. Reduce overwatered areas that create the warm, humid conditions fleas need to reproduce. These steps, combined with the right plants in the right places, create a yard that actively fights flea populations before they ever reach your front door. So, is it worth the effort of planting and maintaining all of this? These are not miracle cures. If your pet already has a heavy flea infestation, you will still need veterinary treatment to break the cycle. But as a preventive layer, as a way to reduce the number of fleas your pet encounters in the first place, these plants have been earning their reputation for centuries. Unlike chemical treatments that break down in sunlight and wash away in rain, these plants keep growing. They keep releasing their compounds into the air and soil, season after season. They will keep protecting your yard as long as you tend them. We also covered how diatomaceous earth can work alongside these plants for even stronger natural flea protection. If you found value in this breakdown, subscribing means you will not miss what comes next.